Happy Wednesday, folks. Miles here in the TrackMan Simulator, introducing a new segment you can find in Teed Up every Wednesday called Alternate Shot. This week we'll be talking about short game shots using this club right here. My main man, Paul Montano, PGA Director of Instruction here at the Country Club, is going to go through a few points with us this afternoon. So Paul, let's talk about the equipment.
Thank you, Miles, and hello. First, we're going to talk about the equipment. The wedges that you're using, usually, well, all of them have a leading edge and a bounce edge here, which is in the back. What creates the bounce is how high the back end is compared to the leading edge. Okay, my wedge here is a 12-degree bounce. The more bounce that you have are good for zoysia. Less bounce is good for bent grass, more tight lies around the green. So check your bounce, and if you're ever having problems with either or type of grass, it might be the bounce in your wedge, so check that out. And then if you're really having problems with chipping, the best alternate would be your hybrid, because it has a wide sole, so the chances of you hitting the leading edge are pretty small. So what's bad about hitting the leading edge though? If you're hitting a chip shot and it's digging into the ground, that means you're hitting the ground with the leading edge. You want to hit the ground with the bounce, so instead of digging, it'll bounce and still hit the ball. So miss hits are going to be better. Okay, and then after that, after this, we'll show you how to use the bounce by your release or your technique. Okay.
Awesome. So that was the what, and now Paul's going to talk about the how in regards to finding the bottom of your arc, your overall setup for this shot, and that magical R word, release. I'm sure a few players that I work with will remember that word from our time together. So
Great.
Take it away.
So what Miles is talking about when you're about the arc is, we're talking about the bottom of your arc. When you are swinging down, wherever you're hitting the ground, that's the bottom of your arc. Some of you will hit it behind the ball, some of you will hit it in front of the ball, which will make you top it. So when you're without the ball, just swing and see where you're hitting the ground. Okay? So for a quick fix, wherever you're hitting the ball at the ground is where the ball should be. So it could be in the front, could be the back, or it could be the middle. So as a quick fix, that's the best way to do it. Okay? And then with the release, when we're talking about release, it's the best way to actually use the bounce, because when you release it, the bounce is going to hit the ground more. Okay, so what we mean by release is, go ahead and Miles and set up there. When you're not releasing, you're leading with the handle, and you're going to hit the leading edge of the club into the ground and dig. If you want to bounce it, you want to have a really small release, so the bounce edge will hit the ground and skip towards the ball. And can you illustrate that, please?
I'd be happy to try. Thank you. So what you described is not holding on
that, yes.
this way and keeping the club head behind the handle.
Correct.
You're describing
The release.
a freedom of motion with the hands, right?
Right.
No holding back. We may need to edit this one later just in case.
That's pretty good. So he hit that a little behind the ball, but it skipped instead of digging. So that miss hit was a lot better than the chunks that
Then
some
say
people hit.
this shot with a lack of release.
The chunky, yeah, just like that.
I feel like those two shots had similar turf interaction at the bottom, but I released the first one and I didn't on the second one. And though you can't see it in this camera frame, the first one was a lot better than that second one.
I agree.
We're back. We're going to go over a few things that we touched on previously in this week's video. A review session if you will. There won't be a test at the end, though. One thing we saved for last, it's an important element of your setup on this shot, is tilt.
Correct.
So I'll leave it to Paul to talk about that.
So go ahead and try to set up on your ball there. So one of the things that we did not point out is to make sure that you don't hit behind the ball. What will help is if you tilt your left shoulder down, which transfer your weight to the left side. If you're a left-hander, it's the right side, okay? And stay on that tilt throughout your stroke. And then the three things that we already talked about is making sure that you check the bottom of your arc, okay, but just practicing. And then using the bounce, which will help you, to help you do that, go ahead and release it, okay? So those are the few things that we wanted to review before we finish this video.
So now, do I get to hit the flop shot?
No, please don't, because our viewers is not ready for that yet. So we'll see you next week for more tips.